Hi everyone, today we're going to learn about trig and inverse values with calculator. So we're going to use our calculator to find trig values like sine of 32 or inverse values like cosine 81 of 0.475. Let's see what we need to do. First of all, in the first bunch of questions that you see here, we need to use degrees mode. So I'm going to go to my calculator and make sure it's in degrees mode. Go to this point over here, mode, and as you see, the third line that you see over here, radian and degrees, radian is highlighted. That means my calculator is in radian mode, and I'm going to change it to degrees. Go on top of that and enter. Now this one is highlighted. Okay, so let's go back to the screen. The trig functions that are defined on calculator are sine, cosine, and tangent. So we have buttons defined for them, and we can easily find these trig values like sine of 32. So I just go sine of 32 and gives me the answer 5.9919. 5 let me see, what was that? 5299 and 19. Okay, so now we need to correct this to 3 decimal values. So I go to the number that I've written here, count 3 numbers, and then go here. I'm going to draw a small line here and look at the numbers the number that we have right after this line. It's 9. 9 is closer to 10, so I'm going to round this to the upper limit. So that means it will be 5. Instead of writing 29, I'm going to add 1 to this 9. So this will be 30. So 530. So this is rounded to 3 decimal places. The next one, cosine of 184. Just simply go here, cosine of 184, and the answer is negative 0.997567. 997,567, and then I need to round this, so I draw a line after the third decimal number, and then the next number 5 is right in the middle between 0 and 10, so I can choose between the upper or lower limit. We usually choose the upper limit, so this will be negative 0.99, and I add 1 to the 798. Okay, and if I want to find tangent, again, simply just go to tangent of 256 and 256, and then the answer is this one, and you can round it. But how about the values like this one, cosecant of 8.7? We don't have any button defined for these kind of functions on our calculator. So what do we do with this? We need to make some changes to these functions. Let's work on number 5, cosecant. We know that cosecant is basically 1 over sine. So I'm going to change that. Instead of writing cosecant, I'm going to write 1 over sine of 8.7. Then simply I have the button for sine, so I just go make a fraction here, 1 over sine of 8.7. And I need to, yeah, that's it. That was right, sorry. Okay, 6.61109. 6.61109. And then I round this 6.611, because this number that you have here after the third number is 0. It's closer to the left side bound like 0, so I don't make any changes to 1. I just keep it. This is the answer. Cotangent is 1 over tangent. So I'm going to write 1 over tangent of 325. And then simply use your calculator to find this. Secant is 1 over cosine of 253.2. So I can use my calculator to find that. Second fraction, 1 over cosine of 253.2. And this is the answer. You can round it. I will leave that for you. Okay, let's go to the next part. For these questions, we need to find the angles. Basically, we're going to work on inverse values. The first one is easy. Theta is equal to cosine 81 of 0.475. Basically, we're looking for the angle that cosine of that angle is equal to this value. I have a button defined for this one. You see we have sine, cosine, and tangent, and on top of them we have sine -1, cosine -1, and tangent -1. So just go to second cosine, that gives me cosine -1 of 0.475. And that will be equal to 61.64064. 61.64064, and then I round this, it will be 61.640. I'm sorry, 641, because 6, this number is closer to 10, so I add 1 to this one. Okay. The next one says sine of theta equal to 0.873. So here we are looking for theta, but theta is stuck with this sign. So I need to get rid of this sign, undo this one. So in order to undo that, I'm going to use inverse function, sine -1. So I apply this for both of the sides of the equation. It will be sine -1 of sine of theta equal to sine -1 of 0.873. These two cancel each other, and then theta will be sine -1 of 0.873. So I just go here, and second sine gives me sine -1 of 0.873, 0.873, and then gives me the answer. I leave the rounding for you. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's say, what if I want to find theta, which is equal to cotangent of 1.756. The problem over here is that we don't have any button defined for cotangent. We have tangent -1, sine -1, and cosine -1, but not cotangent. So what I do here, okay, I'm going to write this in another form. If theta equal to cotangent of this number, that means cotangent of theta was equal to 1.756. Okay. And also I know that cotangent is reciprocal of tangent, so I'm going to write it as 1 over tangent of theta equal to 1.756. Now I'm going to have the tangent of theta on one side of this equation and everything else on the other side. So I can put the denominator of 1 and cross multiple, and this will be equal to tangent of theta times 1.756 equal to 1 times 1. Then divide both sides by 1.756. These two cancel each other, and from here I'm going to have tangent of theta equal to 1 over 1.756. Okay, now I'm going to find the theta itself, so I need to use the inverse function. So tangent negative 1 of both sides. So apply this for both sides. These two cancel each other. So on the left side, I'm going to have only tangent. And on the right side, I'm going to have tangent negative 1 of this value. So it will be tangent negative 1 of 1 over 1.756. So as you see now, I changed my equation in a form that I have a button defined for this trig value, tangent negative 1. I have a button defined for that, so it's easy for me. Theta will be tangent negative 1 of fraction 1 over 1.756, and then close the parenthesis here, and that will be my answer, 29.66047. I'm going to write it here, 29.6604. Okay, so that's my answer, and I can round it, and because this number is less than 5, the rounded form will be 29.660. Okay, so let's see what happened here. You don't have to worry about all this stuff that I did here. I just explained these to tell you where does this come from. You can just compare what we have here and what we made here. Theta, theta, that's the same thing that I have on the left side of the equation. On the right side of the equation, I have cotangent negative 1, and I know that reciprocal of cotangent is tangent, so I'm just going to write tangent negative 1. So instead of cotangent negative 1, I'm going to write the reciprocal of that. And then the argument that I have here, 1.756, instead of writing this, I just write the reciprocal of that here. So all you need to do is to find the reciprocal of both phrases that you have here, both terms actually that you have here. Reciprocal of them, and then use your calculator. Let's do one more example to make it more clear for you. So I have arcsecant of this value. We know that, first of all, arcsecant is secant negative 1. So we don't have to freak out if we see arc. It's the same thing as secant negative 1. Now, we don't have any button defined for secant on our calculator, so we need to change it. How do I change it? Just simply go to the same rule that I did here. I don't need to do all this stuff. I'm just going to write in this form, theta is equal to, what is reciprocal of secant? It's cosine. So I'm going to write cosine negative 1. And what is reciprocal of this value, the argument? It's 1 over 2.217, and that's it. Then I'm going to use my calculator. Cosine negative 1 of 1 over 2.217 is 63.618239. 63.618 and 239. I will leave the rounding for you. Okay, so let's do another example here. Number 13, cosecant of theta equal to this value. So we want to find theta. So first of all, I'm going to write it as theta equal to cosecant negative 1 of 3.623. So I changed this to inverse form. Again, we don't have any button defined for this, so theta is equal to, reciprocal of cosecant is sine. So I'm going to write sine negative 1. Notice that I need to write sine negative 1, not just sine. And then reciprocal of this value, 1 over 3.623. you can use your calculator to find the answer. So that's how we work on these kind of problems. Okay, let's go to the next page. The problems that we have here are basically the first two groups of problems are the same thing that we did before, except that we're using the radian mode this time. So I'm going to do a few of them for you. First of all, change the mode of the calculator to radian. So I go down here, radian, enter. Now go back to the screen. Cosecant of 2.4. Well, we know that we don't have any button defined for that. So instead of cosecant, I will write 1 over sine of 2.4. And just use my calculator. 1 over sine of 2.4. And that's the answer. You can round it and write your answer. Tangent of 5.17. This one is easy. Tangent of 5.17. It's the same thing that we did before, except that now the answer is in radian mode. So this is negative 2.0355. Negative 2.0355. So I round it. It will be negative 2.031. And this is in radians. That's it. So instead of putting a small circle here to show that this is in degrees mode, now I'm going to write radian to show this is radian. The next part, again, the same thing. I'm going to do the last one for you. Theta is equal to arc cotangent of this value. So theta is cotangent negative 1 of 3.812. I don't have anything defined for cotangent negative 1, so I'm going to change it by reciprocals. Cotangent is tangent negative 1 of 1 over 3.812. So once again, I just wrote the reciprocal of both the terms that I have here. Reciprocal of cotangent is tangent. Reciprocal of this number is this number. And then use our calculator to find this. Okay, let's go to the next part. I like this part because this is basically the proof of why we need to know how to solve problems without a calculator, because not always the calculator gives us the right answer. So let's see, how does this work here? We have sine of theta equal to this value, and we want to find theta, but the theta has a restriction. It should be something between 90 and 180. Okay, so let's see what happens if I use my calculator. Theta will be equal to sine negative 1 of 0.843. So I'm going to use my calculator. First of all, should be in degrees mode, so I change this to degrees. Okay, this is in degrees mode. Now, sine negative 1 of 0.843. So the answer is 51.458. I'm just going to write the first three decimal numbers. 51.458. 458. I'm sorry. 458. The next number was 2 because it was less than 5. We rounded as just 458. Okay, so this is my answer, but the angle that is given here, 51.458 degrees, is not between 90 and 180. It's less than 90. So how do I find the angle which is between these? The calculator is not giving me the answer that I need. Okay, so let's go back to what we learned in previous session about finding inverse values. What we used to do was that check the sign, of this trig function is a positive value. If sine of an angle is positive, so that means the angle is going to be either in the first quadrant or the second quadrant. Okay, so here the calculator is only giving us this value, which is 51.458. What I'm looking for is the angle which is between 90 and 180. So I need to find this one. Okay, so we know that this reference angle also is the same as what we have here, 51.458. Okay, so I need to find this angle that starts from here and ends at this point. So just simply to find the angle that I'm looking for, I do 180 minus 51.458. Okay, so it will be 180 minus 51.458, and it's equal to 128.542. 128.542 degrees. This is my answer. Okay, let's do another example here. Cosine of theta is equal to this value. So theta will be cosine -1 of -0.594. Okay, I'm going to use my calculator first. Cosine -1 of -0.594. Okay, this is equal to 126.4413. 126.4413. Okay, but this angle is not between 180 and 270. What the calculator is giving to me is this angle, something here. This is the angle that calculator is giving to me. Okay, so I need to find it by my own without the calculator. So cosine is a negative value, so that means the angle is going to be either here or here, because on second and the third quarter cosine is a negative value. Okay, now I need to find this one, because this angle is between 180 and 270. So the angle that I'm looking for is basically the angle that starts from this point over here and ends at this line. This is between 180 and 270. That this is 180 and this one is 270. So how do I find this? The first thing that I'm going to do here is to find this reference angle over here. How do I find that? So I'm going to subtract 180 from this value, which is 126.4413. So I did it here, 180 minus 126 point something is equal to 53.5587. So this angle is, this one that you see here is 53.5587. 5587. The same is here. This one is also the reference angle, so they are both the same thing, 5587. So I found this one. Now it's easy to find this whole angle that starts from here and this goes to this point. The whole thing from this point to here is 180, and then 180 added to this value will be my answer. And that's here, 180 plus 53.5587 is equal to 233.5587. So 233.5587 is the angle that we are looking for, and it's between 180 and this one. I can round it as 233.559. Okay, let's do one more example. Tangent of theta is equal to -2 point something. So theta is equal to tangent of negative 2.147. Tangent negative 1 of this one. Okay, so calculator tells me that tangent negative 1 of negative 2.147 is equal to negative 65. Okay, so this is negative 65.0254. 0254. So the angle that calculator is giving me is this one, that starts from 0 and goes to the negative direction. This is what the calculator is giving to me. But what the question is asking me is something which is between 270 and 360. So the location of the angle is the same place, but this should be a positive angle, so not negative. So I'm not looking for this one. I need to look for something that goes to this direction. Okay, so let's go back to what we did before. We know that tangent is negative. That means the angle is going to be either in the second quadrant or the fourth one. The second one is not what we're looking for, so we don't need to worry about that, because we need to find something which is between these two lines. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. I already found the measure of this angle, 65.0254, and I don't care if it's negative. I just care about the measure of the angle, like this distance. We don't care about positive or negative. So to find this whole thing, I'm just going to subtract 360 from 65.0254, and whatever is this value, that's my answer. Let's find that. 360 minus 65.0254, 2949746, 2949746, and I round it as 294,975 degrees, and that's my answer. So these are some examples that I did for you. You can work on your homework, which you can find it on Google Classroom. It's another quizzes form of homework, and it's due on next Sunday at 11:45 p.m. Have a great day and take care of yourself.